Alright, you should be able to hear me. I know it's been a while, but here I am. I'm finally ready to continue building. So I've got over here these parts right here. Man. So this is a lot of pages. At the same time, it feels like not a lot of pages. And after that will be the time-consuming stuff. Anyway, so... So I guess let's start with this page, just so I can have this done and be turning pages. Okay. First off, I need some stuff from this runner. Let's see what all I need for this. Where did that? That should suffice. Okay. So the 2-in-1. V2-in-1. Mini V. V8 and 9, which confuses me because we're a 2x V runners, so notice that doesn't say 2x, so I'm not sure. Okay, so I think that's the middle one that they're having me do stuff to. Okay. Well, anyway, it wants 8 and 9, so off we go. Alright, and that's it for this tiny 2 steps. Okay. Okay. Now I can assembly. So let's see here. So we're saying it should go like this. Yeah, this goes in here somehow. Certain diagonally been set, right? Okay, I think that's how it goes. It's an interesting assembly method, for sure. Okay. So diagonally been set, right? It's not quite in though. Admittedly, neither is this one. Okay. I think those are in the way it wanted it to be. Alright. Put this over here with the assembled parts. And I can focus on getting out more stuffs. So I think what I will attempt to do is get all the parts up to here. And I think that's what I'll do next. Looks like a bunch of parts from Z. Unironically, it could very well be the rest of the parts from Z for this. We'll find out though. So 7 and 3. And 8. Complaining about something I shouldn't cut. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see it now. Okay. Of course, we need Z5. That's the cockpit. Z5 for the cockpit. I believe that's everything from the Z runner. So now I need the 10 and 11. All right. That's V, 10, and 11. I believe it's all from V as well. Okay. Up, Z4. Z4. Next, some parts from T. Oh, it's T8. Then 6 and 7. Claims can be identified, so I won't care to try. So that's it from T. So next is S. It wants S5 and then S2, I believe. So there's S5. There's S2. Ah, so there is a sticker for there. That's fine. We need some R. Why don't I see R? Oh, that's fine. Oh, whatever. So here's some R1. I'll need the pilot. R15, 14. $15, 14. 16. And R1 and 2. And I need 8 and 7. That's gonna be it for this runner because the only stuff left relates to hands. I already decided which hands to use. So next is L14. There's L14. Is that truly everything? I believe so. So we're done all the way to here part-wise. Admittedly, the rest of this looks straightforward enough. I could just go ahead and get parts out for that too. Okay, so this is where I start needing double of stuff. I need Z for any of this. Doesn't look like I do. Hey Johnny, how's it going? So we'll get out this first. Need V12. Do this one right here. I need this twice. I also need from the So 24 and 23. Okay, this is going to be about painting, I think. But let me go grab my phone so I can translate and make sure. Have you considered looking into a pre-cut machine? Michael's actually sells pre-cuts in store. You can get all the stuff you would need for one there. Hey Golden Foxy, how's it going? But with a pre-cut, you can create all sorts of different patterns and stuff, and then do cutouts and scale them to whatever size you need, which would be similar to what you're doing with the circular cutter from Display. You could probably even have it where it's like on a full sheet, and then you just shape that sheet and have it cut that shape to fit around your thing, and then it's fully covered that way. Okay, so I was going to translate this. Let's see here. I'm gonna guess it's about painting. Yeah, so V parts can be used if painting is required. It is not, so I will not be doing that. Okay, so that's everything from that one now. So next, just need to get this out. Okay, I believe these are to hold accessories, like weapon accessories, to the back unit. I think that's what these are for. Okay, but that should be that done. Oh, nice, congrats. Yeah, building has been slow going for me since getting my new full-time job back start of April. I have finished one kit so far, Daytime Meteor. Now I'm almost done with this one. This will be 2 whole kits I've finished since getting that job. And since then, my backlog has gone up by like 30 kits. So, yay. Hey Guangchen, how's it going? Okay, so now I need to find parts from the P2 runner. Okay, and P2 and 8, P6 and 9. So now that's where you have to pay attention to direction. Okay, so it looks like there's a slot in the joint, and you have to pay attention to where that slot is. That makes sense. So part did yeet off into space, so now I gotta find it. Just don't know where it went. I assume it hit the floor. I will admit I've considered doing kits in parallel. My problem is the way my setup works. So one thing with pre-cut, Johnny, it might be a bit expensive up front. Depending on the machine you get, you might be looking at around $200. But what you can do with it is insane. So you know, like a 172 scale or smaller scale models for planes and stuff. The coolest use I've seen of it is someone using pre-cut on some masking tape and doing the lettering and numbering for tiny bombs that were then mounted to the underbelly of whatever plane they were building. And the detail on that's just insane. You just do that and then you just lightly paint over it and you're done. So there's some really cool stuff you can do with it. Also, if you really had the time and effort put into it, you could technically use pre-cut to make your own cutout masking for a specific model. So you know how some model kits, like Gundams, will have a third-party set where you can buy the pre-cut masking that you just apply to whichever part? You could technically figure out how to do all that yourself and then just be able to do it with laser precision each time with the pre-cut machine. So you're wondering on my thoughts on this model kit. Well, so far I really like it. Let me go grab what I've assembled so far. So here it is. This kit is a very premium experience. Granted, so is the price. The entire instruction booklet is colored, so that's quite nice. The parts that it says are pre-painted have a really nice coating and texture to them that feels and looks very premium. A lot of it is undergated, so you're not going to visually see much, if any, nub marks or anything. With the way I assemble kits, I just use the two-cut method, and then I use a hobby knife. That's it. That's all I've done for this build. So no sanding paper or anything like that. And I've been able to achieve this result. I have done all of the, they're called 3D stickers, I think. Let me find them here. So there are these really cool stickers here. I'm not sure how easily it will show up on camera, but there is a distinct thickness of 1 to 2 millimeters for each sticker. So they do stick up a little bit. These are quite nice. They're a bit different to get used to getting out of this. Sometimes I've tried to use a hobby knife to get them out, and sometimes I've just, you know, like bent this a bit to stick part of it up, and then I can get a tweezer underneath. It also has a bunch of these right here, these photo etched stickers. Let's see if any of it's visible on this anymore. You can kind of see light reflect right here. Let's see here. You can sort of see that there's some photo etching right there, right here. There are a lot of things you can do optionally that it provides you the extra parts with. So for example, on the shoulders here, you can see that I've chosen blue. But if I turn it around, you can see that I've chosen red. So you can choose which colors of those you want. You can just do the entire thing one color, or whatever you want to do with it there. There's some optional stuff on the head. It's not going to show up as easily, but maybe you can sort of tell it's this purple color, sort of like this, that I have for the eye cameras. And there's a lot of things you can do with that. You can do a solid gold yellow color, and then you can use these stickers for the eyes if you really want. But yeah, the hands are static. You cannot change the articulation of any of the hands. That's just what you have, and then there's different hands. So you just swap out the hands for whatever pose you want them to have, which honestly might not be a bad way of doing it. I have chosen the hands that will hold weapons and accessories. So if I decide to pose with accessories, then that's how that will work. It also comes with these cool joint parts right here, and I actually have some that I've yet to use. So these are pre-made and everything, and it makes the whole build feel a bit better. You can tell here that that's what it would look like, and this right here is for the back unit. These are the arms, of course, and we got the torso, and then the waist. So those work out really well. It makes it feel very sturdy. The build process of this is a lot of fun. So the way you build this is quite nice in terms of order of things. So here's the build process. So step 1 is the mechanical skeleton. Then step 2 is the extreme structure. Then step 3 is the complete form, which I just showed you. And then step 4 is the rear cockpit, which is what I'm currently working on. Then after that is the weapons, and then the display base, and then instructions on how to do the mechanically deployed, which there's some things on it that can extend and open up, and that's what refers to as mechanically deployed. I do have if you go to my YouTube shorts, my most recent YouTube short does a short little 360-degree view of each phase. So you can see the mechanical structure, the extreme structure, or the mechanical skeleton, the extreme structure, and then the, what was it called? Complete form. So you can see all those compared and stuff, as well as height comparison to the Master Grade 3.0 RX-78-2. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's a very premium building experience. If I were to compare it to a Gundam, I would say this is essentially in between a Master Grade Extreme Gundam and a Perfect Grade Gundam. So it's not quite Perfect Grade Gundam level in 1/100 scale, but it's definitely at Master Grade Extreme level or higher with the various things it has included. Also, I don't have it myself, but if you like LED kit lighting, Cosmos makes an LED kit for this kit. Now, that LED kit is sort of limited in what it does. It will give you lighting for the head, and it will give you lighting for the display base. But it does exist. It is something you could use. Just something to consider. But yeah, so that's what I think of the kit so far. Let's see, did I get all the parts I need for this? Yeah, the Kree-Cut would definitely be an investment. There's so many things you can do with it, though. So from that perspective, it's appealing to have as another tool in your arsenal. Sort of like how there's so many things you can do with a 3D printer. But That's just my thoughts on it. And I don't do the sorts of stuff you do, so I don't benefit as much from a creek hut right now. But I think with the sorts of stuff you do, you could benefit a lot from one. Again, it just depends on what all you're looking to do and how much you're willing to pay to streamline the process a little bit. Okay, so I believe that's all parts for this now. And that's where that would be used. Makes sense. Okay. So next up are the S parts. And it wants S6. So there should be a bunch of those. There are indeed. So these 4 should be everything I need for this. Then it wants T14 and 15, which I assume means I'll have to do the same thing on the other runner. Yep. There's 14, 15. And we need T4. And T18. Alright, so let's get out the other one and do the same stuff. Okay, it should be good to go here. I suppose so. They call it the rear cockpit, and that's what confuses me a little bit. So for this entire kit, there's zero indication of where the pilot is. There's zero indication of a cockpit in any of the assembly. And then, what is this called? It's called the rear cockpit. Not only is it called the rear cockpit, but guess what? You even have a pilot figure, which is the only pilot figure in the entire model kit, by the way. And you put them here in this cockpit thingy, which even has a sticker for the instrument panel. So, at least as far as the instructions are concerned, the only cockpit in on this mech is on this rear cockpit back unit thing. So that's a bit weird to me. It almost seems that it means that the only way this entire thing functions is if this is installed on it, and then that controls it, and that's the pilot. I don't know what it is, to be honest. Not much is explained about it. There is this massive booklet I've yet to open. Right here. Commemorative book. See if I can read some of this. I've not opened this for obvious reasons, but this might explain some of it lore-wise if I decide to care. Okay, so essentially this says They recommend reading through this after full assembly. So that's essentially what this reads, is they want you to read this after full assembly. Let's see what this says here then. Okay. This just goes on to say words of appreciation and how they put a lot of work into this kit, and that it is a kit they put the most work into from all the other kits to commemorate the 10th anniversary thingy. Anyway, so I won't actually read through this, but I'm thinking that if there's any sort of lore behind any of this, it's going to be in this book. That's my initial guess. So there is that. Okay. So where's the B runners at? Because that's something else I need. No, that's the A runners. I don't need them. Somehow I don't need them. Okay. So 2 and 3. And 4, and I'm guessing 5. And should be everything for this. Next, I do the exact same stuff on this. I did come up with a preliminary design. It's just all in my head so far, but a preliminary design for the ship carrier thing I want to build someday and have be what my channel is centered on and operating from within. So that's kind of cool. I went through a thought experiment and looked at a lot of the lore for Gundam itself and sort of sounding out why there aren't really any carriers in the Gundam universe. And logistically, it's because everything involved and it makes it impractical. And strategically, it's impractical because of how power scaling works in Gundam, where you have super duper overpowered weapons that can destroy very quickly, if not one shot, almost anything. And it's hard to defend against that because the weapons are always going to be a bit more powerful than the armor of something. And when it just takes one Gundam with a super overpowered weapon to completely destroy a colony, having a massive carrier that can hold, 60 to 100 Gundam, it makes for a very prime target. And it would be very costly to have that taken down. And also because it doesn't work as a comparison or a direct comparison between Gundams and modern day fighter jets, because a Gundam is a lot more independent and capable than a fighter jet. It doesn't rely on needing to refuel before that same day is over. It doesn't need to rely on coordination as much with other forces to do things, etc., etc. So there's reasons why there isn't really an actual carrier for Gundam. But I did try to look into, hypothetically, if one were to exist, the dimensions it would need to be, what would be involved, you know, personnel-wise, to fully maintain all of that and everything. Which does give me a rough idea of what I might be looking at if I wanted to make something myself. So anywhere between, what was it? I'll have to check the exact unit of measurement again, because it's fundamentally changed everything. So yeah, around 300 meters, I think. So anywhere between 250 to 500 meters long is what I would be looking at as a potential for if I wanted a ship, a spaceship that could carry forces, not only just Gundam, but other things. And of course, at that point, I'm sort of disregarding a lot of at least in-universe lore for how Gundams themselves operate, and sort of just doing my own thing and making my own universe, which is what I want to do anyway, because I want to incorporate more than just Gundam into it, and I don't want it to be a Gundam-centered or focused thing, but something that can utilize everything and be compatible with everything from any franchise of any type. Okay. I believe that's all the parts now. It's possible I've missed something. I think that's going to be good. So now I can just prepare everything. As far as the design theme and stuff, I want to, of course, have it be Viking themed and dragon themed. And so I was looking at historical Viking warships and stuff. And, you know, what those look like. And then just sort of the hypothetical of upscaling that to if a Gundam were to be a human size, to upscale the ship to be for the size of a Gundam. So even just doing that, you still get to around the 300 meter length or whatever, or however long. So it actually does almost work out to be proper and correct from that way. And then you're just changing the shape of stuff a bit so that instead of the interior being hollow, where people stand, you have a carrier deck type thing where, you know, they can catapult off of. And then, of course, you have the underneath of that being where everyone is. And then just some ideas surrounding that and whatnot. That's sort of the design approach I'm going with for whenever I eventually start to seriously start that project. Which is a long ways off. Because depending on what all I want to do with it, it will essentially almost be like developing my own video game and merchandise and all this other stuff. So it's going to be a bit ridiculous, depending on how far I want to go with it. Because I would want not only a physical representation of what this thing looks like externally, but also some diorama set stuff of the internal stuff. I would want the external thing to kind of sort of have some semblance of functionality to it, where I could do some classic Star Wars style footage recording and, you know, with video editing and whatnot, make it look like it's really flying through space and doing these certain things through space, you know. And of course, with the idea of a diorama stuff for the interior, and that's the backdrop for my VTuber model, depending on what all I'm doing there. And of course, having a hangar and other rooms and stuff, or sections or whatnot for different things, and then of course figuring out what all I would want in the hangar, and the color schemes for all of those things, etc. But then it would be cool to have a digital representation of the ship as well, so, you know, like a full model render of the exterior, and then a full model render of whatever diorama thingies I come up with. Maybe even to a point of having it be in a Unity project that I could port into something like, what's it called again? VR chat. Because then I could make 3D models of whatever characters I incorporate into this, like my existing VTuber model or my other VTuber model, and do stuff from there and whatnot. And of course, then you're gonna need to create sounds for things, sound effects for like the engines or other stuff, or whatever. Because I'm not gonna go with a hard sci-fi where it's as realistic as possible. And I'm not sure how much of all of that I'll be able to figure out all on my own. So it may be saving up a bunch of money and commissioning essentially a dev team to do that for me, which would get really expensive really quickly. So I'd probably start with a very dumbed down, scaled down thing where I do it all myself, and from there decide if it's something I'm interested in enough to have done in that proper way. Of course, one of the appeals of having the entire thing as a digital render is I could then use that render to be 3D printing stuff. Because it's not like I'm wanting to design my own plastic model kit for others to build. I'm just wanting to have a physical object of what the ship looks like. And considering how difficult and complex everything else would be, I should probably go down the path of least resistance for figuring all that out at that point. Obviously, having a proper model kit would be pretty crazy, but I don't think I want to try going down such a route. Alright. That's all the parts. Whoop. Missed one. Okay, now that's actually all the parts almost ready for assembly. So remember I had already done that. Okay, so I'm going to take a very quick break, and then add to Civil Pre-roll on Twitch, and then I will continue with this to prep parts and whatnot. Alright, I'm back.
She wanna laying it up in that bitch, she wearing Prada. 20 of her friends be that Delilah. See us get the line, I know she about it. I know she about it. I know she wanna laying it up in that bitch, she wearing Prada. 20 of her friends be that Delilah. See us get the line, I know she about it. I know she about it. We don't wanna go too hard. We just wanna party, party. We don't wanna go too hard. We just wanna party, party. We don't wanna go too hard. We just wanna party, party. We don't wanna go too hard. We don't wanna go too hard. You keep calling phone. You keep calling phone. You keep calling phone. You keep calling phone. I know she wanna laying it up in that bitch, she wearing Prada. 20 of her friends be that Delilah. See us get the line, I know she about it. I know she about it. I know she wanna laying it up in that bitch, she wearing Prada. 20 of her friends be that Delilah. See us get the line, I know she about it. I know she about it. We don't wanna go too hard. We just wanna party, party. We
play the strings, I'll sing all night. I need a remedy, and melodies always make me feel alright. If you set the scene, I'll dim the lights. Creating memories, we treasure these forever throughout our lives. You can be my remedy, my therapy through the night. I can feel your energy, you healing me, stars align. If you play those keys, I'll feel alive. It's the chemistry, I feel it deep, the strength I had lost revives. You know how it feels to sink in time. It's so heavenly, serenity forever throughout our lives.
Alright, I think that's everything trimmed and ready. So next, of course, need to clean this off. Oh, one more thing here. Don't want to lose that into the garbage can. Have to find that. That'd be annoying.
No sleep, no fear, different point of view. It's here, it's now, what we wanna do.
Okay.
Don't have all the answers, but we don't care. I thought the answer was in front of me, but it was just a dream. And all the fading made me see. I thought I had to choose another way. You can't predict your fate.
Okay.
Just how it's meant to be.
So that should be everything now. Not sure why. There we go. Cleaned all that up. So there will be some stickers at some point. This is the first sticker that I'm aware of. Anyway, so I believe it's this one that it wants. It's saying wants me to do this. Do this. Oh, this is gonna be annoying to figure out here. What if I try to do that? Does that help me somehow and allow me what I need to do? Kind of maybe does. I'm just very confused how I'm supposed to make this work then. Sure wants stuff to go in that, right? Part of the problem is it just won't fit. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be a very tight and annoying fit, I think. See if I can somehow get this to go back in now. I sort of can, yeah. Well, why won't that go in? Oh. Well, that becomes very annoying. Can't be what was holding it back this entire time. Could be, but it's not. You can't want to go in, so I don't think that matters too much. Okay, ever so slightly. Getting it to go in. We can do that a bit to encourage this. Okay, I think that's where and how it wants it to go. So that's cool. That was fun, shall we say. There's that done. So next, once these. Okay, there's that in now. Next, let's this and this. All right, there's that done. So first, okay. So it somehow goes like this, I guess. So sure, that's cool and all, but literally nothing holds it in place by the way. Okay. It wants to go into here. Okay. Okay, I got a better idea then. So that should be good to go now. Okay, then just need to pop the other side on. I can only imagine how fun this will be. Oh boy. Yeah, this is fun. Yep. Some places that do not want to go. Not at all surprised by that. I hate things where you have to line it up properly for it to work. Yeah, it just won't line up. Very annoying. Okay. Okay, we're making progress now. That's actually close. Getting even closer now. Alright, I dare say it's in. So there it is so far. Okay, next it wants me to flop this bad boy in place. It's on. The definitive snap into place. Yeah, it's definitely in place. That's not coming out anytime soon. Cool. So there is that. Cool. Now once these things go into place. So this is T7. That was T7 to go here. Doesn't want to go in all the way though, so that'll be fun to figure out. There we go, that was annoying. Cool. Problem solved. This one's not in all the way. Okay. So next, it wants the cockpit part. Then it also wants a sticker. And so sticker goes right here, I believe. Number 68. That's a decal. That's an... Is that a water slide decal? Hold on here. This might take some time if it's wanting a water slide decal. Yep, 68 right here. That's the water slide decal. Son of a gun. It wants me to put a freaking water slide decal there. Oh, that pisses me off. Okay. Well, now I know what it wants me to do. So that's progress. Pretty extra sure the remainder of this just wants stickers, right? So obviously we got some stickers here. And that's it sticker-wise for this. Let's see if the rest of us wants decals anywhere. Because it shouldn't. So we got 39, 38. Yeah, and some etching. Some other stickers. Which we do explicitly list as stickers. Yeah. I just see stickers so far. And at this point, we're to the point. Where everything's been assembled. Apart from the action base, I think. Okay. So that's the action base. There are some stickers on this and some etching. I'm not sure which way I want to display it. That shouldn't matter right now. I think I like this way right here. Simply because of how lazy it would be. Yeah, then there's different ways you can deploy everything. I don't think it really matters. I'm not going to deploy anything. Yep, then it does that. Yep, so it just shows that there. Okay, so basically all we're doing when they talk about the decal stuff is that they suggest installing this decal before I put this into there. Not that I absolutely have to. Which is a very long way of saying I'm not going to do this step right now. It took some time to figure it out, but now that I have figured it out, I'm not going to do that right now. So I will probably want to try my best to put this back up beside this. Let's see if I can do that. I really do dislike some of these are made low, making it so freaking annoying. Trying to get anything done. Now I'll bend you this way. And now, having bent you this way, maybe, just maybe, we can get this to go in the way and where I want. Again, it's just so annoying. I'm just back to square one. Cool. You know what? Screw this. I don't care anymore. I'll just go get a Ziploc bag and put this in a Ziploc bag. I'm tired of having to deal with how tight these things are and you just can't do it the way you want. So screw that. Alright, let's put this thing inside this. rotate around this way, that will help me out a lot. Then, even further simplified things, I'll do this. Wow! Done! Crazy, right? Okay. So now, there's no sticker for the rest of us. Alright, there's the cocky pit. Okay. So you want it to go this way. Okay. That's now in place. Okay. R1 goes here. Interfaces with this somehow. Yeah, it worked. Cool. Cool. So where's that done then? So next, we've got these parts. Interface right here, I guess, somehow. Okay, does look pretty cool. Next it wants cockpit guy. There he is, a pilot. Okay, so there is the cockpit, but it's telling me that what I need to do is make sure this is sitting up first. Like that. Oh, okay, it goes underneath. That helps me ascertain how I'm supposed to be doing this a bit better. Okay. Okay, but why do we do that first? Why does this have to go down first? That's the part that makes no sense about all of this. Okay, that part's now down. Well, I heard clicky click, so we'll assume that's how it's supposed to go. Ta-da! Interesting design choice, but there it is. More importantly, that's this section now done. So I can now pop this over here. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna take my next break. Need to hydrate, etc. I'm gonna run another ad to disable pre-roll on Twitch, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, it wants me to put a bunch of stickers on first. So we'll go ahead and figure out that. This might be too tiny. This might be too tiny. See if this will help me in any shape or form. Yeah. I like that idea better. Okay, there we go. That'll hold it in place real well. Okay. So I'm gonna need this. Consider this. Consider this. Okay. See if I can get this to work here. These are stupid small. So I don't have as much of a super duper tiny. I think I got it to go in. It's in place. I don't think I have anything small enough to encourage it to stay in place. This isn't really going to work. I'll pretend that helped. Okay. Now I just rinse and repeat over and over. This is really annoying, man. I'm trying to get... Okay, got one. It's never one that's in all the way. Like I said, I'll pretend that helps somehow. Two down, two to go. Pleasantly surprised this setup is working as well as it is. Really annoying to deal with. You know, hold on to stuff. It's a way to encourage only what I want to come out to come out. Got one. Okay, I think I got it. It's not in all the way, so I'll have to encourage it to go in more. Okay, it's in. Pretend that does the trick. Okay, last one. Got it, we're done. Until the next sticker. All right, there we go. So there's that done for this step. Move these swings out of the way. Okay. I believe I need these, and I'm gonna need these. I need these. Okay. I believe it's that one. So I should, in theory, have all the parts for this page now. See if this goes the way I hope. Okay, just received notification that a package has been delivered, so I'm gonna go grab that real quick. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, first off, need to. So it is this one. So it's saying it wants this. Go into this. Let me restart MonsterCat Player here real quick. Whoops, open wrong. Hold up. Okay, that should do it. So it wants this to go there. Okay, cool. Yeah, that works for me. Then wants me to flip it around. So I'm sticking. Okay. Like that. Makes sense to me. Okay. Let's do the same thing over here. Cool. Okay, that's that side done. Next. Do the same thing to the other side. Like that. Okay. Then wait. So they interface. Okay. I didn't realize that. Okay, there's one. There's two. Okay. Once this go into here. Like that. Now that I put that into there. Just slap this into place and off we go. There's one. Okay. There we go. Okay. It wants this to go in somehow. Okay, yeah, there's a very specific way for it to go in. I can line it up properly. I assume that's correct. Okay, it's also in. So next. All right. Now we can turn the page. Take out all the other parts, because we're practically done with this section now. It's a big deal. Okay, so first off, it wants this go into here, slot into place. Okay. I missed a smaller part. Oopsies. Good news is I can just do it here. So U5. There's one. There's two. And just clean and prep these. Alright, that's now ready. Okay, that's now in place, so that's cool. Next I Same thing on this side. Cool. It's now done. So next, just slap this into place. Okay, this is where it once says special parts that were pre-made. Okay. Okay, so it's behaving. Okay, it wants this to move a certain way. So you can go ahead and try moving this a bit. Encourage it to have that movement a bit more here. Oh, come on. Don't tell me I actually moved it too far. That'd be embarrassing. It does feel stuck, so that's not good. Where? There you go, got it. In fact, it struggles to move so much, but it is obviously a concern. Anyway, that's roughly the position it wants it to be in. Okay, and it is saying so B12 would be this one, I think. And it's saying that it wants me to do that with it, basically. And then it will do that. Admittedly, the question becomes, why not just get this to fairly go on first? Can this even move? It can. If it can move, then maybe I can encourage. Okay, I don't think I can make it go down any further, so we'll say that's good to go now. Okay, it's now in place. Now it's talking about slapping this in place here. Like that. Cool. So that's just this part again. Ooh, it's not. I'm not comfortable trying that. Okay, well, I'll say it's good enough then, I guess. That was fun, trying to figure out. I missed some parts again. More two. So 9, 8, 1, and 2. Two. All right. There's 9, 8, 1, and 2. All right. Okay. Okay. So all of those parts ready. Anyway, so let's go ahead. I'll have to do for that, I guess. We'll say that's one done. So next, need to get this one figured out here. I believe it's as far as that's gonna go. So next, that goes into place best as I can. Right, no fit. What's the problem? There we go. We'll just have to say that's good. Okay. Okay. Now for the really annoying part. Okay. This is a 1516. This is a 1517. This is another 1516. Okay. There's another 1516. So then for these 1517s, okay, that's a 1517. There we go. There is that done then. Okay, so specifically, is wanting 1517 to go here. I can even do that. I love designs like this, sarcasm. Okay. Like, how are you even supposed to get this to go in, you know? Okay, it's one side in. Got that one to go in too. So now it's further into the other side. Cool. So it's one side done. One side in. Get the other one in too. Close enough to the same. Okay. Next. There's one done. There's two done. Next thing. One of these goes here. Somehow. I hate things like this. It's just gonna be so annoying to make this fit the way it's supposed to, isn't it? Especially hate when there isn't really anywhere you can hold on to make this work, you know? It's so difficult to get in all the way. I would like it to be in all the way, for sure. I just can't push down on anything. It's very annoying. Again, there's not really anything I can push down on here. Okay. I got about to go in a bit further, so that's nice. Let's see, how far around can I move this actually? Like, actually. Depending on where I can get it, maybe. This one just feels oddly tight in comparison though. Just find somewhere I hold on, you can push it down. It's annoying. Well, whatever. Essentially, there it is. Okay, so there it is, the back unit. Now it would want me to just go ahead and install it into here. I'm gonna hold off for right now though. But there it is, there's the back unit done. Okay, so now I clean all this up and get started on the accessories. So first I'll have to figure out all the runners I need and some other stuff. So I think what I will actually do is let's end this session here. I'm really hungry. I'll need to eat something and set all this up, and that's going to take time. So it'll probably take me an hour and I have to do all that. Once I'm done, given that there's no other stuff I end up having to do that I'm not already aware of, then I'll be back later today to do more of this. I think that's what I will do. Alright, well thanks for tuning in for this session of Infinite Dimension Nemesis. I have finished the full assembly of the rear cockpit. What's next are the weapons, and then the display base. So that'll be fun. It'll be quite tedious, because there's going to be a lot of steps where it wants you to do things 8 times for some ridiculous reason. But yeah, so if things go well, I'll pick up where I left off later today. The goal is to still try and somehow get this done today, or get it done enough today that I'll say I'm done with the kit for now. And then I'll move on to Master Grade Extreme Strike Freedom tomorrow, which is July 4th, Independence Day. So that's the plan there. Anyway, hope you all have a good rest of